Welcome back again today, guys. My name is Nathan JL, and thanks so much for checking out my Rust Beginner's Guide. I've been wanting to make a Rust Beginner's Guide for a while now because I hear from countless friends that they have the game downloaded, and when they try to learn the game, they just feel overwhelmed or just completely lost, and I can understand that. Rust is a pretty complicated game, but we're going to simplify that for you guys today. If any of those ring true with you guys, then this is the video for you guys, and it's getting started right now. When you first log into Rust, you're going to want to pick out a server, and picking out the right server can be a little overwhelming. You'll have a list here of vanilla servers, or official servers as they're called, and what that just means is that there's no modifications, no extras, just the game itself. My personal preference and what I recommend for beginner players is to go with a modded 2x server, and essentially all that means is that on a 2x server you find twice as many resources when hitting trees and rocks and nodes. You find twice as many materials when you're hitting barrels, and you find twice as much scrap. Also, the nights are twice as fast, which cuts down on your downtime in game. Another important thing to know is that every server has what's known as the wipe. This is when the server resets and creates an entirely new map. And with that means that it erases everything that was built, crafted, or created during the previous wipe. Some last a week, some last 2 weeks, and some for an entire month. Do know that no server will last more than a month. And that's because on the first Thursday of every month, Facepunch releases an update that offers new content, bug fixes, patches, or optimization. And this isn't DLC, this is just free content that comes from Facepunch every single month. Now that we've got our server picked out and have fought the load screen boss, let's get right to the gameplay. When you start out in Rust, you're as naked as the day you were born, except you're on a beach with a rock and a torch. The rock is your primary tool when you first get started, as I said, but you're going to want to move away from this as soon as possible. It's just not good at any one thing. First things first, when I spawn in, I make sure that there's no other lunatic nakeds around me screaming, and then I press G to open up the map. I'll then take a minute to consider the following tips. On this map, you'll notice different biomes, roads that intertwine, labeled locations, and those are called monuments. The monuments to keep in mind at first are Bandit Camp and Outpost. These are neutral safe zones where you can trade materials with vendors or players, recycle materials, and refine materials safely. The other monuments are not safe zones but offer more mid to end game materials and loot, so we also want to keep those in mind. As I said before, there are different biomes, each with their own pros and cons. Mountainous regions, such as here with some elevation and most of the time snow, are very ore rich and sometimes well wooded with scattered animals. However, you will need to be clothed in order to run through here or when you're hanging out in your base because of the environmental temperatures that will do damage to you over time. The desert does also have hot temperatures naturally, but offers lots of animals and a decent mix of ores and wood. You won't find cloth like hemp plants so easily here, but you can hit cacti for very basic food / water source and a little bit of cloth. Forested areas are heavily wooded, which is very important for building and keeping the furnaces burning non-stop, especially when you're getting going. This biome has no extreme temperatures and it offers scattered ore spawns, ton of natural occurring food such as mushrooms, berries, and animals, and it also has scattered animal spawns. The one drawback to the forested area is that a lot of players will build their bases here because of the aforementioned reasons, which means that you'll have a lot of neighbors, but don't let that take away the value of this biome. My ideal location has the following. It has to be a short run to either Bandit, Outpost, a supermarket, or a gas station. It should be a short run but not visible from the road, offering lots of crate and barrel spawns. It should be near one monument, and for new starting players I recommend either junkyard, airfield, sewer branch, or water treatment. So that'll conclude the section about our location. Let's jump right into tools and weapons. Tools will be your best friend at the very beginning. I always make sure the first thing I make is a wooden spear for 300 wood or a bow for 200 wood and 50 cloth. Because if you've ever seen Rust highlight videos, there are absolutely no friendly Rust players. They will fucking murder you. The second reason you'll want a spear or a bow is to hunt animals, but we'll dig into that a little bit later. Whenever you're hitting a tree, you're going to want to hit it on the red X whenever you can. That will allow you to down it faster and actually give you more resources quicker. For stone or ore nodes, you want to aim for the glowing, shining spot on the node for the same exact effect. Your first tools will be a stone pickaxe for 200 wood and 100 stone, and a stone hatchet for 200 wood and 150 stone. These will allow you to gather significantly faster than a rock, which cuts down your farming time and minimizes the time that you're vulnerable while farming. We'll want to use these tools to gather up roughly 3,000 wood and as much stone as possible, and make a tool cabinet, 2 doors, building plan, 3 key locks, and a hammer, roughly 2,000 wood. While running towards your base location of choosing, be sure to pick up all the resources on the ground along the way. You'll find things like hemp, berries, wood, stone, ore, mushrooms, and sometimes dead bodies. Loot everything you see. You'd honestly be pretty surprised at how much stuff you can collect from the point that you spawn until the point that you build your new base. So we finally made it to our location, and this is where you're going to build your first base. We're going to start off with a very simple 2x1 with an airlock, as you'll see here in this video. You'll want to move your building plan and your hammer to your hotbar and use them accordingly as seen in this video. Surround yourself with walls, of course, to keep intruders out. Place 2 door frames just like this. Upgrade these to at least wood, but the best is stone. And do not leave anything twig, as it's easily broken in 2 hits from a melee weapon or 1 simple arrow. Place your single doors down as you saw in the triangle foundation here, and that will give you an airlock as it's called. That means that no players can get in or out, and it leaves you a little slit to actually shoot out of. You'll want to lock them with key locks, but do not make keys. Simply lock them and your game will actually save and register that they belong to you, so you don't need keys. The reason for this is if players get your keys in their hands, it gives them an opportunity to figure out which house they go to, and then they can have free range of your home. You'll want to place your tool cabinet down like so, make a lock and place it on the cabinet as I have here, and this cabinet will be your base's lifeline essentially. Lock it so if someone was to enter your base, they can't gain control of the building allowance that the tool cabinet gives to whoever is authorized on it. When you look in the cabinet, you'll see that there is a daily cost for upkeep. Make sure to meet this or exceed this amount before you log off for the evening. You can also stash a bunch of different things in here as you'll see, and this will essentially double as a large storage space with a lock on it for now. Now the next thing on your list is to get a furnace, and what you need for that is 50 low-grade fuel, some stone, and some wood. You can kill animals as pictured here, or humans for animal fat. You can break down red barrels on the road, or you can cook down crude oil that you'll find around the map in an oil furnace if you're lucky enough to find one, or if you were to be near a monument. Our furnace will allow us to graduate from the Stone Age into the Metal Age. Once you've got your furnace or furnaces, set them down, put some wood inside of them and a little bit of ore, turn them on, and let the things just cook. You can return to farming out in the open world or log off for the evening, and when you come back, everything will be smelted down into ore. So the base is down, the furnace is in, and we're slowly on the way to getting out of the Stone Age and into the Metal Age. That brings us to barrel farming. This is my favorite method to get going in the game. All around the map you'll see streets and monuments. The streets are littered with boxes and barrels for you to break or open up. If you do nothing else, farm the absolute out of the barrels and crates. Keep in mind that roads and monuments are typically contested with other players who want you dead, but that just means more loot out there for you to find. The items that drop out can either be used as is, as in like components for crafting, or recycled and broken down to their basic components such as metal, cloth, high quality, and scrap. For example, if you found a tarp and recycled it at a recycler, you'd end up with a pile of cloth. And that cloth could in turn be used to make clothes or bandages or be the part of making a helmet or a weapon. And the fact of the matter is, this is why we wanted to build close to a road, near a monument, and close to bandit camp, as well as near a mountain, so that we could get kind of the best of everything. But what about all this scrap? What am I supposed to do with this? Well, scrap is pretty important as far as the meta of the game goes. This is the main currency and the main resource of the entire game. It's used from everything from trading to researching new items so that you can progress throughout the game. Scrap is mainly used to learn and research new items, as I said before, but you'll also need it to build your workbenches from tier 1 all the way to tier 3. And which workbench you have will depend on how much scrap you have and how far along in the game you've progressed. So, as I said before, scrap is a pretty important thing. So we started this video out with a rock and fighting off other nakeds and ended it with a level 1, level 2, or level 3 workbench, a nice base, and a pretty solid location. So I think you guys are ready to get started on Rust. If you guys enjoyed the video and the content within this video, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Make sure that you like and make sure that you subscribe, because that really helps me as a channel and it also allows other people to find this content easier. If you really like this video, then be sure to share it with your friend who has Rust and maybe hasn't started yet. And yeah, thank you guys again from the bottom of my heart for watching another video, and I'm looking forward to catching you guys on the next one. Till then.